ever repiling a house again. Now, what did you two think of living at Toomey Street? Because you boys lived with us for a couple of years there. Oh, we're lying down, aren't we? A lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of cold nights actually. Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name's Aliesha and today I'm going to be telling you how me and my husband managed to buy this beautiful 10-acre property here in New Zealand at the age of 24. Pretty much how we got here was through buying our first property, and then we had enough equity in our first property to be able to buy this property. Now our first property we didn't have that much money to buy, so we weren't looking for anything flash. We knew it would have to be a renovation, like a do-up property. So when we were searching for properties, we were just pretty much typing in lowest price in the area we were and seeing what came up. So we looked at about 7 properties. They were all a little bit out of our price range. They're all around that 250, but we really wanted something around that 200k to be able to live comfortably and not have a huge mortgage. It didn't take that long until a house came up in our budget, around 200,000. So we called up the owner and went to have a viewing. We were a bit overwhelmed at how much work that this place needed. Like we knew that what we were going to buy was going to need a lot of work, obviously for how cheap we were hoping to buy a place for. But this one was pretty, how do you say it? Well, some people came over and thought it needed to be demolished and a new house needed to be built, so yeah. I'll show you a few pictures later on in the video, just what we were dealing with. So yeah, the piles were uneven, the roof leaked, there was like no carpet or anything. I think it was actually, from memory, it was a 1910 miner's cottage. It had a 600 square metre section. So we decided to buy it. We shook the lady's hand and we managed to get it for 192,000. So the layout of this house was pretty unusual. For some reason the kitchen roof height was only like 2 meters. So when Jaden was in the kitchen he had to bend his head like this when he was cooking. Because yeah, he is 6'2", so he's quite tall. Also the door frames, when he had to go into the door frames he had to like bend his head to go underneath. So yeah, it was pretty tight in the kitchen. So because of this we thought there'd be a little roof cavity between the lining of the ceiling and the actual roof. So we decided to rip that off to give Jaden a bit more head height. But I'll put some photos in now to show you what that resulted in. So literally it rained rat poo. It was seriously the most rat poo I've ever seen in my life. Also gross as like dead rat carcasses and God knows what else up there. So I mean, it was a good decision I guess, because we gained about this much space for his head. But the cleanup afterwards was quite painful because it went everywhere. Shortly after we bought it, we realised we've bitten off way more than we can chew. The work overload was crazy, both of us working full time and trying to have the time to renovate. We spent days, we spent weeks underneath the house, moving lots of dirt to try and repile the house. Yeah, I don't know what went through our mind now trying to think that we could even re-level this whole house and make it livable again. Thinking back now, we kind of should have just demolished it and put a new house on. But anyway, so we had to get the house level obviously before we could do anything. So all the rooms were all on a lean, the piles underneath were broken. There was like bricks and all sorts of like this rotten wood that was used for the piles. So parts of the house was high enough that we could fit underneath to try and jack the house up and put new piles in, but other parts unfortunately was too low. We had to go underneath with like tarps and spades and like spade the dirt on the tarp, and I'd pull the tarp out and empty it into the trailer. It was like, seriously, it actually took months. We just had to first get all the dirt, like channels of dirt out underneath the house so we could even get to the piles. So we started jacking up the house, and that's when we noticed that, oh shit, this might not work. So as we were jacking, we realized that they actually put the windows and the doors and everything in after the house had sunk. So as we were jacking, normally when you jack, everything kind of goes back level, but as we were jacking, it was actually putting all the windows and the doors out of square. We got ourselves into quite a mess after messing with the piles and the jacking and that kind of thing. We ended up with gaps in the walls. We could see outside. I remember sleeping in my room in the middle of winter just freezing. Like we had like blankets over our heads because we were so cold. Where we were was actually quite cold during the nights, as it is. So yeah, I'll never forget that, just getting up in the morning and like seeing your own breath and having numb fingers in the house from all the gaps in the walls. I think like a bit of the house was built on, or an add-on. So the original part was the kitchen and bathroom and the lounge, and then they added on a couple of rooms at the back, I'm pretty sure, because when we started repiling one end, the house started like splitting off from each other rather than all coming up together. So I'll show you some photos of what the walls looked like, how we could literally see outside, because there was gaps like that in the corners of our room. Oh, you can hear Fitzgerald carrying on his crowing in the morning. But yeah, I'll chuck those photos in now so you can see the gaps and what we were dealing with when we started to do this piling. Also when it rained, obviously because we were trying to repile the house, it made all the screws, all the nails come out of the roof. So when it was raining, it would leak. Would literally have buckets placed all around the house, catching drips of water everywhere. It was actually quite crazy when we think about it now. I'll show you a video now of what it was like when it rained. I actually remember my sister and her boyfriend, we wanted them to stay while we went somewhere for a couple of weeks, and it was pouring with rain that night, and they rang us and said, sorry, we just can't stay here, it's just unlivable. They ended up hooking up a pipe onto the middle of the hallway and making the water go into the sink, and yeah, they just could not believe we lived there. So yeah, I forget these days how bad it was, but hey, we wouldn't be here today if we didn't have that house. So anyway, long story short, we soon realized that this house is just not fixable. We just weren't getting anywhere. We were just putting so much hours into it. It was so stressful, and we were kind of making the house worse. So one morning I thought, what the hell, I might as well just have a scroll on the internet to see what's out there, because I was like getting sick of living where we were. And oh my god, this property came up. The price was actually really reasonable. So I thought, what the hell, I might as well dream a bit, bring out the agent and just go have a look. Anyway, I recognise the property because I've been here before. I rear calves and the owner used to buy calves off me, so I saw the photos and I was like, I swear that's the place that I'm thinking of, and it was. So we got in the car, drove up the driveway, and oh my god, we fell in love. Like, if you know it's the property, like for you, you know it's the property. Like, we walked inside and the house was huge. It's like 230 square meters here. So coming from the old property, which was like 90 square meters, to 230, I walked in the door and I was just like, whoa, like this is insane. And I was so excited. I went up to the agent and I was like, oh, can we just make an offer? Can we just make an offer? Like, just hoping, crossing our fingers that somehow we could buy it. I mean, it doesn't hurt to dream, right? Anyway, it ended up being like a multi-offer situation, so we did have time to go away and actually ring the bank to see if we're even in with a chance. Because at the time my husband changed jobs, we actually decided to start our own business. He relocates garages, so our income had like doubled then when we bought the first house. So we thought we were in with a chance. After talking to the bank, kind of just winging them a story how we've got this house that we're renovating at the moment and it's going to be worth X amount when it's finished, even though we secretly knew it was stuffed. But they didn't know that and they didn't want to come and look at it. And with the figures from our new business and also with help from my parents who guarantored us, thank you Mum and Dad, if they didn't guarantor us we probably wouldn't have been able to get it. So yeah, so with all of that put together, they gave us the okay and we could put down an actual offer and possibly buy the place. And yes, I know we are very lucky that my parents were in the position to be able to guarantor us. No, technically they didn't give us any money. People ask me, oh, did your parents buy your property? Because people think it's so unheard of that we're only 24 and had this 10 acres with this massive house. But no, they didn't give us any money, but yes, they guarantored us, and without that guarantee I'm not too sure we would have been able to do it by ourselves. Oh, but we would have tried damn hard if that wasn't a possibility. So yes, you could imagine me, I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, the bank said yes, like what the heck. So we put in our offer and we got it. Like, can you imagine what went through my head when they said your offer has been accepted? I was literally like, what? Like my heart stopped. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what the hell? We've just purchased 10 acres with like a huge house. Honestly, you should have seen my expression. So yeah, who could believe that just one random morning scrolling just to see what there was to the next few weeks later purchasing our like dream property. It still blows my mind how it happened. So yeah, so we ended up with two properties. We had this one and the do-up one. I don't know how we managed to pull that off, but eventually we sold the do-up property just as it was. We just needed to get rid of the headache, and we still actually made a profit because by then the value had gone up a bit. So see you later to that property, and then now we can focus on this one. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more videos on our property. It's definitely a do-up property. We definitely bought it when everything starts to need replacing now. We've been doing decks, replacing fencing, we're going to do new kitchens, you know, all that stuff inside. I've got like this huge list of what we want to do with the place, so definitely subscribe to my channel if you want to see what we end up doing with this beautiful place. I will do a property tour at some stage. I'll try find some old footage as well of what it was like when we first bought it, because we have already changed it like dramatically. The only advice I have to all those people who are trying to get into the property market is just don't look straight away for like your ultimate property, what you want to buy. You might have to buy something not that great, that's a bit of a do-up to even get on the property ladder. I know a lot of friends who seriously came over to that house and they were like, oh my god, I'd never buy this kind of thing. And it's like, if you start at the bottom, you will eventually make your way up to the top. I mean, there's no way we could have just randomly purchased this place straight off the bat. So I think you've got to start down the bottom, work your way up, and yeah, same goes with everything in life, really. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit long and kind of went off track in a few places. But yeah, that's pretty much how we managed to purchase this 10-acre block after roughing it for a couple of years. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys subscribe, and I hope to see you in future videos. Thanks, bye. Andy, what did you think about living at Toomey Street? You didn't like it? No? Why not? Was it a bit cold at night time? Okay, and what about your brother? Did you like Toomey Street? Did you like Toomey Street, Carlos? Because you're just a puppy. No comment?